Hustle, grind it up, hit the field, we don't bluff. Touchdown dances, feel the love. Jordan's got that MVP stuff. It's time for OPE, let's go. Packers bringing that show. It's time for OPE, you know. Green and gold gonna glow. Lambeau Field, our sacred ground. Feel the vibe, hear the sound. Packers fans so loud and proud. Jordan Love, he's wearing the crown. Lambeau Field, our sacred ground. Feel the vibe, hear the sound. Packers fans so loud and proud. Jordan Love, he's wearing the crown.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Open Cheeze. I am Iowa Joe. That is Cheeze Talk, Brian Rago. Here to discuss, I don't know if we really want to discuss it, but whatever they decided to call that today, whether it was a game or just, I don't know, I saw more competition and tiddlywinks when I was a kid than I did in today's game. Brian, what'd you think?
I think that we should maybe look again at our kicking situation now that we have two legit, when they're hot, good kickers. That would have been the difference maker in the game, that missed field goal. Although their kicker missed a field goal too, or an extra point. But it's just the play calling. It's like it's like our first time like playing a video game, like playing Madden, and it's like we have no idea what's going on, and we're like, oh, we're good, we can play on all Madden, and we just get annihilated. I mean, the score didn't show annihilation, but the play in the field did. You know?
Yeah, I didn't die. I'm back. I still feel it a little bit, but I'm about 90% right now. Um yeah, I mean this I told you this before we went live, but if I had to believe that the NFL games were rigged, this would be one of them, because there is no reason that after coming off a win like they did against Pittsburgh, that they should have came out as flat as they were today against the Panthers. And then at the end, when they're hyping up the kid for the Panthers to kick the game-winning field goal, where he's already missed once from this distance, and this such and such, and this will be the second time this year that he's won the game on a kick and whatever. But LaFleur, I'm at an odds with it, because I agree with some people that LaFleur probably needs to have his play calling taken away. But on the other hand, who are you going to give it to? I don't trust Stinovich calling plays.
AI.
Yeah, AI. It might call a little bit better game. I don't know. I've seen some things that AI's called, and I don't think it's quite possible for him to do that yet. Um, I don't know if Nathaniel Hackett is still a advisor for the team or not. Maybe let him call play, or hire him as the play caller. But I don't know if I trust anybody on the offensive side of the coaching staff to be the true play caller for this team. And let's face it, the guys didn't go out there and execute like they should have. I hate using that word, because that's the most cliched thing LaFleur likes to use, is execute, execute, execute. But Jordan looked rough. The offensive line was getting their lunch taken away, especially like Jordan Morgan. Uh,
Jenkins.
Jenkins was getting beat up pretty good. And the wide receivers struggled. Now, I have to give uh, the Carolina corners credit, because J.C. Horn, one of a really great corner. Michael Jackson has played pretty well. It's weird to say Michael Jackson and not think of or I always, ever since the episode came out for uh South Park, I always, that's ignorant. So, um, but their secondary is pretty solid, but we're supposed to have the better receivers, and it seemed like Jordan just kept trying to feed Romeo.
Force.
Yeah, force feed Romeo, and it's like, no, bud, you've got other. And then when he did try to air it out uh to Watson,
Gold, Golden, right? Wasn't that Golden
well,
triple coverage?
Golden's was a little bit rough because he almost had it, but it was one of those last minute knockout things. So, but it was double coverage. But then you had the Watson that he made the big 51 or 52-yard catch. And then on the second time to Watson, it was into triple coverage and it was way underthrown and an easy pick. So I I really don't know why that decision making was there. I understand the wind was horrible, so that's when you like slim down the play calling a little bit on those deep routes, but you still want the passing game to be involved, especially when it's been proven that your offensive line isn't giving your backs very much running room. So, uh, yeah, what else you really want to talk about?
I mean, that you have a good play for a first down, then the next play you get a holding call. Or it's just, you
Yeah, the
know,
penalties were nuts today too, and some of
Sean
them were.
Ryan and freaking Jenkins and
Yeah, the penalties were pretty horrible. The uh the uh the ref crew was also iffy on a lot of things. I hate keep bringing this up week in and week out, but there were calls against the Packers, but when the Panthers pulled the same stuff, there weren't calls on the Panthers. So I don't know what you do with it. It seems like it's gotten worse ever since Mike has called out the officiating of the NFL, but that's a whole nother conspiracy theory to go off of. Outside of that, just taking a look at some stats, they weren't overall horrible. Jordan went for 273 yards, 26 to 37 for 273, average 7.4, the one interception with no touchdowns. Jacobs went for 17 carries of 87 yards, averaging 5.1 with the one touchdown. Like I said, he seemed to like force feed Romeo, 10 targets, 7 receptions for 91 yards. And then everybody else had slim to none. Uh, Watson had 4 targets, 2 catches. Musgraves had 3 targets, 3 catches. I'm going to give it to Musgraves. He actually stayed on his feet after at least 2 of his catches, and didn't go down immediately. So, Luke, you're making progress there. Um, the next highest target amount was Josh Jacobs with 5, and he caught 4 of them. And the rest of them are 2 to 3 targets. That's some Aaron Rodgers late career stuff, or Brett Favre late career stuff. You got to start spreading it around. I understand, Wicks is hurt, Watson's limited, Golden went out with an injury, but you got guys like Heath. You still had Romeo. You have guys, Savion. You've got guys on the field that you can get the ball to. It sucks Tucker went out. I don't know, prayers, whatever, whoever's religious, prayers, thoughts, whatever you want goes to Tucker, because the one part of the press conference I did hear is LaFleur said it's not looking good on his knee. Hopefully it's not an ACL. Hopefully, if it is a bad injury, it's more of an MCL, because that's a little easier to come back on during the season. ACL puts him out for until next year. And that really sucks for a guy who was having a historic season for a Packers tight end. But what did you think of individual performances? Not as a team, just individually.
I'd probably give Jordan like a C because in just the decisions he made on those interceptions, even that one where he crossed to the left sideline, well, toward the near sideline, when watching the game, and tried to throw it across field to Dubs in the middle of the end zone. If that guy would have had that pick, it would have been 60 other way. It's just like you can't be making those kind of throws, especially I don't know that. I thought Jacobs played good. Musgrave played good. Dobbs played good. Watson, I think he's for his second game back, he played good. Defensive line didn't play great at all. I mean,
No,
you could. I don't know what's bigger, the gap that they had up the middle for Dowdle or Michael Strahan's gap that he has in his teeth. You know, I mean, it's just crazy how wide and untouched he went for the first 5 yards running through that hole.
yeah, they really pushed Dowdle 25 carries for 130 yards with 2 touchdowns. That really hurt. That made the defensive line look horrible. It also makes their decision not to activate Brinson for this week even worse. I get Stackhouse as your more run type defender, but I think Brinson gives you both, and there's got to be something behind the scenes that we're not knowing as to why they're not playing him more. But yeah, this was definitely rough. Even the pass rush looked horrible. Micah maybe got a couple of pressures, but didn't really do much. Rashawn got a few pressures. I got to look here real quick. Let's see. McKinney had the sack, and I think that's the only sack of the game. Yeah, McKinney was the only sack of the game, and that's pretty sad when your safety is the only sack of the game when you have these top-notch pass rushers. Now, like I said, they were getting some pressures on him. According to ESPN, they only had 2 QB hits. One was McKinney and one was Quay Walker. But it's like they played scared. And again, it seemed like LaFleur was playing for the tie.
Yeah,
I get that there towards the end it was a little bit of a chess match. That, you know, who's going to blink first and calling the timeout? Do the Packers want time on the clock? Do the Packers not want time on the clock? Do they just want to go to overtime? You know, what do they want to do? Or, you know, the big decision that kind of ended the game in a way was not going for 2 on that final touchdown. It, you know, going for 1 got them the tie, but if they would have got 2, that would have put them, you know, up for the win, and it probably would have been a whole different game for the Panthers to play. They wouldn't have been able to do some of the things that they did on that final drive. They would have had to play it a little bit different.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I always get like I was watching with my kids, and I'm like, yeah, he's like, Dad, what should they do? I go, well, they should just go for the tie and hope they can get in overtime, you know, and hopefully defense can use that their last and just pin down the quarterback, and they just give up huge play after huge play, that long run by Bowdle, and it's just, you know, whenever he was in, the ball went to him. So how they cannot have a spy on him and contain him is just, you know, I just, I mean, it's obvious when he's out there, they're going to him, and they couldn't stop it, you know. So I play for the tie, hope we get to overtime and take care of business in overtime, but it didn't get that far, so, you know.
Well, and to True North's point, yeah, the Twitter coaches were kind of bad about that stuff, but they, and I get it because the offensive line was not giving the running game any help at all. But that's just the LaFleur style of play. Is let's just pound the rock. That's always been his system. No, Bo Melton is why they lost, and that could be why. You know, why wasn't he getting some? And that's another thing. You know, if they're worried about injuries, you have this guy that can be a 2-way player, both defense and offense. Throw him out there. You know, if you're that worried about your other guys being injured, what's going to hurt on that one? But turnovers was another thing. You know, Savion's big fumble cost him. Jordan's interception cost him. Jordan's almost other interception cost them. It's like this team didn't want to be there. They just wanted to skip it and go on. I don't even know if they were looking toward the Eagles game or what. They just didn't want to be there, it seemed like. And this is why I don't watch press conferences anymore, because I don't want to hear the excuses out of them and the coach speak and the cliche talks. But can you name any kind of MVP for this game?
Well, I mean, I think Romeo had a good game. I mean, he's been having solid.
But it's hard for him not to have a good game when your quarterback is doing nothing but target you.
Well, I'm saying though, he's not like dropping the ball. He's not fumbling. He's catching the. He has sure hands. I mean, if you want to look at someone that stood out on offense, I mean, I guess Josh Jacobs ran the ball decent. I think Jacobs and Dubs on offense, and I don't really know if there's anybody on defense that I would probably tip my hat to. Maybe McKinney and maybe Clay Walker. You know, Clay Walker sideline to sideline. He had quick closing speed and made tackle. I mean, it's hard to point out someone on defense when they played the way they did. I mean, McKinney had the interception. I don't know.
Had two. It was close. It almost came down to a second one.
Yeah,
that would have been nice because it would have been in the same boat.
It wouldn't have counted though because there's passing interference on Nixon again.
Right, yeah.
So I mean, it's just Nixon again. Here we are, crucial time. We need you, bud. We need you. Nope. What was that? Third down stop or fourth down stop on that? Nope. Passing interference on 25. It's like, come on, dude. Really?
But like I said, this reffing crew was really flag happy today. I understand the Packers seemed undisciplined with a lot of stuff, and when you did look at the replays, you know, some of them were, yeah, what are you doing, you friggin' moron? But like they threw the flag on the edge hitting Bryce, and it was clear as day that I mean, they obviously picked it up because of what do they call it, instant replay or help with digital replay or whatever they call it. I
just think that happened so fast that they had to throw the flag and look at it after the fact. I mean,
you've got a sideline judge that's there looking at the feet. He was clearly almost 2 yards out of bounds when he got hit. It just looked worse because it was towards the end line. Why didn't the side judge say no, there's no flag because he was this far away from the boundary?
And then he was pointing, he was taunting, he was pointing first down. I mean, that should have been 15 yards, and it should have been a penalty on Carolina's bench for
celebrating. It wasn't. He wasn't pointing at Edgerrin. He was just signaling first down. So I'll disagree with you on that one. But
even the Carolina's bench for going after Cooper after that out of bounds. You know, there's something. I mean, pushing and shoving in hands of the. I mean, come on, man, really?
When you've got a quarterback that is 5 foot nothing, 100 nothing, when some guy touches him, he's going to fly 100 miles. There's no doubt about it. And it looked a lot worse than it actually was. It was pretty much all Young's fault because of what he did. He should have never pulled up. He should have never did what he did. He should have just went right out of bounds, and Edge made him pay for it. And, you know, I got to give him his props for that. He was field aware. He knew what was going on. Even when he was walking away after they threw the flag, he was like, no, he was in bounds. And he knew right away what was going on. So at least they got that cleared up. But it's sad that they have to go to New York for them to get the decision right, not make the call. Because like I said, you have that sideline judge that is right there to watch to make sure if he's inbounds or out of bounds.
Yeah, it was this overall. You could tell by just the vibe you got from the game that it was just going to have a shitty outcome, and it was like they drug us along all game long just to lose by a field goal at the end. When it felt like what they say, we had 4 trips to the red zone and we had 6 points or so for it. I mean, that's terrible. You know, you got that fumble by Williams, you got the pick by George. It's just so many points you left in the field. It just makes a game like this, you know, I guess, to give you any type of positive reaction, really. I mean, what was positive about it? I mean, the offense, I mean, looked decent, but those couple of turnovers costed us the game, and then the missed field goal. It's just, but hopefully they can bounce back. They always seem to bounce back after games like this, and they always seem to play good against good teams, and they play bad against bad teams with a worse record than them. You know.
Well, that's what I said at the start when this was really going down, that that it always seems like they played down to their opponents, and it's been like that for a long time, that they've played down to their opponents. But I do like this point from True North. I blame the uniforms for this loss, and that's all possible too. There was so much hype behind these alternative uniforms and the helmets and that they didn't care about the outcome. They just cared about how they looked out on the field. So
The one post I saw was, just because you wear the 1923 throwback doesn't mean you can score how we scored back in the day like that. You know, only scoring 6 points at one point. You know, it's like kind of true. You know.
But it hurts even worse just because of who they were playing, and luckily they didn't give up a ton of they didn't make Bryce Young look good. You know, he was only 11 for 20 for 102 yards with one interception. He had a lower QB rating than what Love had. So that's the only bright spot. Otherwise, this is similar to the last time the Packers played Carolina, and Joe Barry made Bryce Young look like a superstar. So it is what it is, but I don't know. I'm running out of things to talk about. Is there anything else you want to touch on, or do you think we should just wrap her up?
No, I just think, again, they should lock the whole team in 1265 until Monday. Don't let them out. Make them run stressors. You know, it's just at some point they need to have discipline. If you're going to get burned if you're an offensive lineman and you get burned, I mean, I get it. You want to protect your quarterback and, you know, try not to get caught. But when it's so obvious, just let it go. Don't this you see let what's going to play out play out. Don't hold and we get a good play to have it, you know, lose 10 yards or whatever it is. Just let's see what happens. You know, if you're going to get burned, just take it and just don't hold, because you're going to get freaking called for it. I mean, it's just so, especially when it's so obvious. You know, it's just discipline. They got to teach discipline. You know, be accountable. You know,
The only thing that I'll say is, to play devil's advocate, I'm sure there's probably something in the CBA that does not allow them to keep them in the facility for 72 straight hours. But the only thing I can hope for is the rumors of them in search of another corner in the trade market is true, because they do need to bring somebody else in. I'm not saying the Nick Hobbs experiment is a bust, because I do agree with Kawano. I don't think he's fully healthy, and that hurts when you're trying to be the main guy on the defensive side of the ball. Carrington played well, even though he got beat a couple of times, even though I think it was just luck that was against him. My dog is going nuts in here, dragging shit out. But yeah, Nixon, I have never been a Nixon truther. I've never believed that he was a true number one. Maybe he's a fringe number two guy, but he is definitely not a top dog. So they do need to bring somebody in. And not Asante Samuel Jr. I'm sorry, guys, but if what Easton Butler had said earlier about he had just been cleared to work out for teams, but hasn't been cleared for contact as of yet, but will be soon, Asante Samuel Jr. is not playing again this season.
yeah. I mean, who are they saying? Denzel Ward.
Yeah.
Denzel Ward is a name. I mean,
Yeah, but the problem with Ward is he's got such a high contract that the number coming over almost guarantees you're not going to be keeping a couple of your own free agents. Now, if they can get one of the guys from maybe Cincy, or if they can get the kid that they've been talking about from New Orleans, or maybe even a Rasul Douglas back from Miami, if on a conditional pick, that might be in a better situation. Hell, I would have done the Jair trade. I'd have did what Philadelphia did to get Jair, swap picks and bring him back, because you've already paid the guy the money because of how much guaranteed he had. Why not just bring him back and throw him out there on rotate him in and out? But they definitely got to do something. I don't think names like what's the one from the Jets, Quinnen Williams, or I've seen Jeffrey Simmons' name thrown out there. I don't think those things are going to happen because of the lack of trade capital the Packers may have to invest after the Parsons trade. Plus, you got to realize some of those guys are going to come with hitting your ex-girlfriend never works out. Yeah, but staying with the same one that keeps dragging you down doesn't work out either. You got to hope for something. So yeah, Quinnen Williams, I don't think is going to happen unless some miracle happens. Jeffrey Simmons from Tennessee isn't going to happen unless some kind of miracle happens. I think you're better off trying to find a corner than you are a defensive lineman, because they have a guy, they just don't seem to make him active on game days with Warren Brinson. So unless you're going to move like an Enigbare plus a pick for somebody, I don't think that big, huge splash is going to happen. I think a medium trade may happen, like, again, for a guy out, it's one of the guys from Cincy or the guy from New Orleans. But again, Asante Samuel Jr. is not the answer, because by the time he's ready to fucking play, it'll be too late in the season.
They should just go out and give Charles Woodson Jr. or Charles Woodson's son a futures contract. He's like in high
I
school.
don't think NIL works that way, Brian. I don't think NIL works that way. But anyway, we're gonna wrap it up here. We're almost to the half-hour mark. We're just being goofy right now. Plus, I got to record later with Kawano, so I got to keep my
Same.
voice going a little bit, because, like I said, I still feel a little bit of it in my chest, and it is affecting my voice somewhat. I don't sound like a foghorn anymore, so that is on the plus side. But that is... Oh, let me grab this real quick.
I'm on tonight at 8:30 too. Cheese Talk Podcast, YouTube.
Go
I'm with
over and support us.
Mr.
Please
First Down.
go buy some merch. I'm working hard on this shit. You can see I've got my Soul Stealer Josh Jacobs shirt. I just put up a new one that I thought was going to be really big, but I haven't seen anybody even look at it yet, and that's the Mount Passmore, which is Bart Starr, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Jordan Love as Mount Rushmore, but instead of Rushmore, it's Passmore because they're QBs. Go over, pick some of that up. Don from Hey We Like Your Pod's been helping me a lot with designing some of this stuff. Go support us. Buy some merch. You can go over to ohiopackers.org and just click the shop tab, and that'll send you right to our merch shop. I will say that if you buy over $75 worth of merchandise, you will get free shipping out of it. So get you a hoodie, get you a pint glass. Don't be... If you're a drinker, unlike us too, a pint glass will do you really good. Coffee mugs, because it is getting to that cold season. Coffee mugs, hoodies, t-shirts. If there's something up there, design that is on there that you like and you want it on something else, like a sticker or a magnet or something else like that, let me know. Send me a message. I'll be sure to fix that. We'll get Brian's logo on some shit too, so it can be sold. But that's all for us. Follow Cheese Talk Pod. Brian said he's going live later. Follow us. We'll have at OPE. Quano and I will be recording later for our episode tomorrow morning. Again, do some scheduling notes here, because it is a Monday night game this coming week. There will not be a live show, for one. And for two, there will not be a new episode Monday morning because obviously we can't do a show until the game is played. So the new episode will be on Tuesday, except unless somebody slips me a script for this week's game, and then we will post all kinds of spoilers on Monday morning. But I don't think that's going to happen. Follow us on all socials, subscribe, like, so you can keep track of when we do our lives and everything else. As Mike would say, aloha and go pack go.